Okay, so welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's Saturday, meaning it's time for our weekly breakdown of our favourite deals across the US, UK, EU and AU Switch eShops. Now, as always, we're going to be giving away two $10 eShop gift cards. All you need to do to enter this week, leave a comment below letting me know if you could change just one thing about the Switch, what would it be? This can be hardware or software. For me, it's got to be either add that Pro Controller D-pad to an official Joy-Con release, or give me Bluetooth built in so I don't need to use an adapter. With that though, the winners from last week's giveaway, they're going to be announced as we go today. Check out Thursday's video for the usual weekly 10 deals under $10 or your local currency. And this one today, as usual, its budget doesn't matter, we're just looking for the very best deals. So yeah, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family for reviews and deals all throughout the week, and let's get started. So as always, you want to check the lower left corner of the screen to see if the deals here are available in your region. This week we have a decent little mix though for all regions, I will say that. But let's get the obvious one out of the way first. Saints Row 4 re-elected. Now, while I don't think it's the best deal, honestly, it's a discount nonetheless than the first one we've seen actually. It's a great little port too, that definitely helps. With the fourth entry here though in the series, they scrap the over-the-top Grand Theft Auto kind of clone vibe they always had and introduced all sorts of weirdness. Here, become the president, inherit some superhuman powers and take down alien forces. It's got a great sense of humour that makes the game hilarious, solid performance on the Switch, there's tons of stuff to do, online co-op, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, even if I will say you can get it on other consoles for a fraction of this price. It's still a nice little 30% off, it's not bad at all. So 90s RPG fans, I may just have the game for you. This one, it's LEGRAND Legacy Tale of the FATEBOUNDS, coming in with a 50% discount. For the story, it's nothing out of the ordinary, you're fighting to bring, peace to the land, not original. I will say though, I really enjoyed it. Sometimes we don't really need originality as such, but simply handling a concept with care. That's pretty much how I feel about this one. That's exactly what they've done, but they've added a few nice unexpected twists along the way. A great little world to explore though, a turn-based system that adds in quick time events. That's not going to be for everyone, but surprisingly I actually enjoyed it myself. And a decent throwback visual style. Throw these things together, that very much earns my stamp of approval. RPG fans, get on this one. So platformer goodness now coming at you with Bomb Chicken, and it's generous 50% off. I'm going to say it up front, I absolutely love this game. So here's the idea, you're a chicken who instead of laying eggs, you lay bombs, and you'll be using these to not only defeat enemies and solve puzzles, but actually assist you in movement. So how does this work? How does it assist you? Well, you're a chicken, you can't jump, so you need to use towers of bombs to basically raise yourself up, whether that's, up and over obstacles, enemies, or simply just reaching another platform. At all moments though, these are bombs of course, which means they're set to explode, so it creates this kind of like frantic vibe to the whole experience. It's basically platforming with a twist, and I appreciate that. It's trying something a little different, and that's always a bold move with a genre that very rarely kind of breaks the constraints of what you expect. I'd say give this one some consideration when you're looking at the gaps in your library this week. So next up then, SYBERIA 1 and 2, bringing together the first two games in the series. In these well-loved adventure titles though, you'll be joining Kate Walker for an adventure that takes you from Europe to Russia to the Great North. While I don't want to give anything away obviously regarding story, I will say I expect to be hunting down the missing Hans Vorarlberg, discovering the last living mammoths, and facing religious fanatics. This one though, it's basically combining free movement mechanics, I think like old school Resident Evil, with then tons of locations to visit, to investigate, and people to meet. I'm always happy to recommend this series, and I really did find a lot to like once all was said and done. Now I gotta say, it does show its age at times, but it's still very much a journey worth taking, especially with 65% off of this collection. You're gonna get easily a combined 15 hours out of it, if not more. Adventure mystery fans, I'd really say this one is worth it. So our first winner then this week for the $10 eShop gift card, it's going to Eric P. The question last week was, what game do you want to see get the modern treatment like the recent Streets of Rage 4? And Eric, he wants Parasite Eve and the Persona 2 collection. No disagreement at all from me on this one, amazing games, and Parasite Eve especially, I would love to see that one make a comeback. Congrats again, drop me an email and I'll get you hooked up. Winner 2, it's coming up later in this video, but first, For your chance to win this week, just remember to drop that comment below. What one thing would you change about the Nintendo Switch given the choice? With that, more games. So my pickup of the week now, something I do each and every single week here on the channel. It's a game I can't recommend as such because I haven't played it, but I've decided this week to part with my cash and pick it up. Maybe some of you will want to join me for the ride, maybe you'll support my decision and let me know kindly in the comments below. Sometimes you'll just be mocking me in the comments for making an awful choice. This week though, it's VAMBRACE Cold Soul. I've wanted to pick this one up for ages, reading constant comparisons to the Darkest Dungeon. That is a game I personally adore. With this one though, sadly the reviews, they've been very much split, some as low as 3 out of 10, all the way up to 9 out of 10. It seems to be polarising the audience. This one though, a story based around a cursed ice city, just entices me. You can't deny the visuals then as well, they are absolutely stunning. And if it's as hard as I hear, I should get my money's worth, or at least I hope so. I'm taking the risk though this week with 35% off in the sale. So visual novel fans and horror fans alike, you should consider Raging Loop. This one, it's obviously light in the traditional sense of gameplay, but the story just oh so good. Here you're going to find yourself in the secluded Japanese village of Yasumizu, a mysterious settlement that's surrounded by a heavy mist. As you arrive though, it seems your timing could not be worse. Ancient guides are here to hunt down and kill the villagers one by one. The feast has very much begun. Here though, that concept just hooked me. I really like the characters then as well that we get to meet as we, progress. The mystery just kept me engaged. It's just all handled really well, and it definitely kind of got me jumping at a few moments. Plus then with Raging Loop, death is always just one bad decision away, so it's nice to see a visual novel where your choices have very real consequences. Throw into the mix then, it's a 20-hour experience and there's just tons of reasons to go back with multiple endings, branching paths. Yeah, I think 25% off for this one is more than reasonable. So MOMODORA, Reverie Under the Moonlight. This one, it's for you action platformer Metroidvania fans. Here you're going to be taking on the role of Kaho, a priestess from the village of Lun, out to, let's say, meet the Queen of Karst to lift a curse that's taken a hold of the land. Very much a throwback to games of the past. It even has the throwback 16:9 aspect ratio. I think this one though, it does have a lot to like. Expect a fine-tuned control scheme with combos, attacks, dodges, jumps, huge bosses, multiple difficulty settings, and then of course customization. This then, it's all set to a storyline that I gotta say is reasonably deep and not just the typical excuse to go from point A to point B and fight along the way. If you like your pixel work too, the visuals here, they are particularly impressive, paying respect to its influences while very much bringing it into the modern age. It's not a perfect game and it's a little on the short side, I will say that, but with 50% off, its flaws, they shouldn't be too difficult to forgive, and it very much is unique. So Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is a fantastic game that in my opinion was overpriced on release. Now with 33% off though, it's getting my recommendation. This is a first-person shooter combined with third-person platforming, all set within the insane world of Oddworld. If you want something different, this is very much going to be the game you should be adding to your collection. Expect here though to be taking on the role of the title Stranger, a bounty hunter who captures bad guys and then returns them for incarceration. It's not deep on the story front, that's for sure, but I will say it has a really great sense of humour that just elevates it above a lot of other experiences. With this one though, you'll find solid first person mechanics with kind of like a weird little crossbow that utilises the local wildlife as bullets, some decent platforming moments, and yeah, it's not taking itself seriously, which it just absolutely benefits from, and you should expect from the Oddworld franchise. I really do love this one though. In fact, I've even put my name on a physical release too. Also, while we're on this title, Oddworld Munchie's Odyssey releases later this week on the 14th, and it has this very same 33% discount up until that launch date. It might be worth you just taking a quick look at that one too. A masterpiece for you now, and very nearly my #1 game of the week. That's coming up next. This though, it's Children of Morta with 33% off. If you haven't played this one and you consider yourself a roguelite fan, I urge you just to pull out your bank card and buy this immediately. Don't even think about it. This one though, it's telling the story of a family of heroes, the guardians of Mountain MORTA, and you must take control of them and stand up against an evil force that's basically trying to bring an end to the world around you. Overall though, a seriously impressive storyline that actually gets very deep, 6 playable characters, traditional and then twin stick shooter controls, local co-op which is incredible, and then, I mean, just look at it. This was one of my favourite experiences on the Switch in 2019. It is absolutely stunning. Go buy it now. So now before we do get to our final game of the week, and damn Children of Morta, that is a tough one to follow, which says a lot. But I want to take a second to announce our second winner, and this one, it's going to Josh Napier, who requested a retread of the SNES game Ogre Battle, The March of the Black Queen. I think you're right, it may just be time to see this one make a comeback, and the Switch really would be a perfect home. I'd love this game on the go actually. The Wii got a digital SNES re-release, shall we say? Now let's see a true recreation. So with that, our last game this week, and talk about closing on a downer. I will warn you first of all, with the current climate, this might not be for everyone right now, but I couldn't ignore the fact this war of mine was coming in strong with a 75% discount. It's not a cheerful game, that's for sure, but it is an absolute masterpiece of an experience. This one, you're basically controlling and managing a group of civilians as they try to survive a war taking place in the city around them. Food is scarce, medicine is nearly non-existent, enemies are pretty much always out to end your life in seconds, and there just seems to be life and death decisions at any moment, and pretty much nearly constantly actually. Resource management though, locations to scavenge, all of the DLC here, and then I gotta say, particularly grim visuals that very much match the tonality of this world. There's nothing else quite like this game on the Switch eShop, I can guarantee that. Sure, I will say it's an acquired taste, but it's absolutely a game that will strike a nerve emotionally for those of you that do decide to jump in, and it's one that I also promise you will stick with you, and you will want to revisit it multiple times. And that's it, another week down, and thank you all so much for joining me here on a weekly basis. The support has been amazing. Remember to check out all the reviews we had drop over the last week over on the channel, as well as that Thursday weekly edition where we're focusing on those games in the budget range of sub $10. I'm going to pin these videos too in the top comment for you just to get some easy access. And then if you're new here, stick around, check out another video maybe, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do. You'll be in great company with the community we're building, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.